Okay, and let me get started here. Okay, campaigns. Let's talk about this a little bit. Let me see who we've got here. We've got Sue and Monica, and I think we lost somebody in the turnaround, but that's okay. And then obviously Teddy's here running shotgun. So let's talk a little bit about campaigns. First thing that we want to go, once we jump into command here in a second, we're going to go through the settings. We need to make sure that everything is set the right way and configured properly. This is going to be run through your business pages. So if you have a Facebook business page, that is what's going to be connected to it. If you don't have a Facebook business page, I'd strongly suggest you can do a nice little Google search for create Facebook business page, and there is a guide within Facebook marketing that runs you through that. Get that set up so that you can be able to go ahead and connect everything. That way you'll be able to run command seamlessly between the two. And that's kind of the power of this platform that they put in place that you're learning now through these classes, is to be able to do everything in one place. You're going to be able to own your leads, to be able to follow up with them and systematize them the way that you want, and not have to rely on another platform. So by connecting these the right way, we can connect your Facebook, we can connect your email, your market profile. There are actually two profiles in there. There's one that's your profile that's for the outward facing business, and then the profile that's inside that's for other agents to be able to send referrals and find you within the system. We'll make sure that you've got those, and setting up payments, because obviously you may look to do some paid ads, or there's some different types of printing options that you can do, direct mail, things like that. That's all built directly into campaigns within command as well. We'll talk a little bit about each of the types of campaigns. Okay, so you have paid campaigns, email, direct mail, and then scheduling campaigns. The paid campaigns, we have partners for different parts of command, and in this one the partner is obviously one of the biggest names in the world, and it's Facebook. So we've got a lot of insight that Keller Williams has been able to get from Facebook based on the interactions that our agents have had by using Facebook to try and generate leads. It has tied together and put it in a situation where it provides a lower cost for the ads. If you're going to another marketing firm or somewhere else, they're going to be you're going to have a cost per ad no matter what, but they're going to be adding it on top of that. And so this reduces the cost that's to you individually and makes it super easy, simplifies the whole process. And they've seen from the numbers that there is higher conversion and better information that's coming through the ads that are specifically built directly into Facebook that way from command. On the email side, you have email command, which we will talk a little bit about, and the emails that you get, the types of emails that you can be sending and using for marketing and reaching out in a systematic way to your database. You can also tie in Mailchimp, which is something that a lot of people do use. It's very simple as well, and very effective. The direct mail is with Real Mailers. WeBrand is a company that we use to help design a lot of the stuff that is being pushed through from a design standpoint, whether it's social or digital, or the straight out actual mailers themselves. And the post scheduler is actually, if you've heard of Hootsuite, it's a tool that you can use to be able to manage and schedule posts ahead of time. We actually have that built into command. So there, you don't need to have that third-party app like Hootsuite. You can actually do the scheduling. I can sit here right now and create something for, let's say, this weekend on the July 4th. If I don't want to mess with it on Sunday, making it live, I can create it now and schedule it, and it will go live whenever I've set it to. You can set that a long time ahead as well to be able to do that. Dashboard, we're gonna go through the types of things you can do. There's quick posts that you can be putting in there. There's a tips and training area, the payment section, and then we'll make sure that the connected accounts, you can see which ones they are and you know which ways to be able to use them, from Facebook to Twitter, as well as through Google, and being able to use some AdWords that way. Okay, and then obviously the next class is coming up. We'll jump back to that. Let me switch real quick to my command itself. Okay. So let's get started a little bit, talk a little bit about the getting your settings and everything set up. When you come in here, and you may already have this done, if you've used Scott Leroy Marketing, some of this stuff might already been finished. You might have gone through some of the Kelly guides and done some stuff yourself, but come in to double check and make sure that everything's set. Go under your name, come down to settings. And when you're in here, you'll be able to see pretty quickly what's been connected and what's not. So as you're scrolling through these, you'll see your connected apps up here. So these are all the applications in this page, but the connected ones are at the top. So Facebook's post scheduling, you're going to want to have that connected. So you can go in and you can connect it. Mine's going to look a little bit different probably if yours is not connected, because mine is, and it'll say one account and I can manage. Yours might say that you need to actually connect account. Okay, it might look like this. And so if that's the case, you'd click on it and you'd go through and you'd follow the information to be able to do it. I've got one account connected right now and it tells me which account it is, and I can always disconnect it and add a different one back in, or that one in, and then I can connect more. If I wanted to add others, I can pick other pages that I want to connect. Okay, so that's an additional for scheduling that you can be able to add into it. Your Facebook ads manager, that's something else that you're going to want to make sure is connected as well. So you'd come in and manage it if you need to, and you can connect more and make sure that that one is set, because this is what's going to tie into actual paid ads. This post scheduler is just the one that's going to be the free scheduling tool that you have available. Okay, so we're going to make sure that those are connected. If you like Twitter and you want to use it, feel free. I have a personal account that I use just for personal stuff. I don't use it for business. You can look to see in terms of connecting your Google Calendar, Gmail, Office 365 as well. Down here in your command email, you're going to want to make sure that you have this connected. Now, it's going to come from, when it's sent, it's going to come from an email that's going to look like agent and then a number and then at kw.com. That agent and then a number is actually you, but it's the identifier that the system is able to take in, because you got to remember that, we've got 180,000 agents roughly in Keller Williams. Each one of them has their own identifier, their own email. It needs to be able to easily be able to switch between them and know who goes where or whose is where, so that it can be sent from that person. And then it's going to reply back to this. So you can pick what email you want it set to. You can even add a custom email for anything to come back. So if you have your at KW email, then that would be the one that would be great to use there. If you have a branded account, I have, mine's Jerry at Team Tricky, you can use that as well. But go in and save this, and you'll be able to see what you have on this page as well in terms of how many you've sent. We get 5,000 free each month. So if you're doing these specifically just for marketing your business, you're likely going to take a while before you would eat up that monthly availability. If you needed more, you can always add more. There's obviously a subscription that's available above 5,000, but the 5,000 free in a normal marketing situation is going to pretty much be a good coverall for almost every business, especially if you're just starting out. Okay. You can also connect your Mailchimp account. there are some benefits of using Mailchimp in terms of the fact that it's our platform is still evolving and is moving, at light speed right now. Mailchimp's been around a little bit longer, so there are some pluses that you can use in the Mailchimp system. The nice thing is that you can tie them together and be able to still utilize the everything that you have, your database, all being housed in one place within Command, and being able to send things out through there. So if you choose to, it's maybe, $12, $13 a month for a Mailchimp account. You can always utilize that in one part of the process and then connect it directly back into Command. Okay. And then Twilio is going to come in handy with your smart plans. And that's definitely something that I'd strongly recommend looking into adding as a piece of that marketing puzzle. Okay. When you come in to manage it, you're going to have a Twilio account that will be a number that you get through Twilio. I believe it costs $1 still to be able to get the number. And then it's a local number to you, but that's the number that all the text and everything is going to be going to and from, and it'll be tied directly into Command, so that if you're texting from a smart plan, doing an automated text to a person that you met somebody at an open house, and then you're going to follow up with them for 3 weeks with a smart plan to see if you can get them to set a buyer appointment. That might be something that you'd put some automated text in there to leverage your time. This does that for you, and in here is where you have it hooked up, and you can set all of your parameters for it, so you can know that you're actually what you're seeing at the time, and that it's all going to the right place, how much you have left in terms of your monthly totals, and you can manage your subscription down here. Okay. So we've got everything connected on here, and we're going to make sure that we also have our marketing profile finished. So when you click under Connect Settings, your marketing profile, make sure that it's completely finished with all the information. This bio is going to be your main bio for outside facing, for public facing information. And you'll have all of this updated as well, and you can save it. And then notice that this is different right here. It says bio, and this is part of your marketing profile. This is outward facing towards customers. This profile here that's in your drop down, it'll look a little different. This is actually for you to fill in, and I would suggest that you write it so that it's attractive to other agents, so that if another agent is looking for a referral partner from another city, they can come in here and they can read your bio and then say, oh, this might be someone that I need to reach out to. Okay. And you can edit this bio right here. So it's obviously different than up in the settings. And you can turn on, which items you want to show, whether you want units sold or closed units, things like that. You can turn these on or off as you choose to. Okay. So make sure that those two are set up individually, and that you're set differently to go. So that way you can know that you're actually fully integrated within both the marketing side and the side for the public facing. Okay. So now we're going to come back in here and let's jump into actual campaigns. My internet's running really slow today, which is always fun when you're working at home, and my wife is actually not even working today, so you'd think it'd be better, but for some reason it is not. So we'll jump in here into campaigns, and we're going to look across the dashboard here, or this top area, I should say, where it starts with campaigns, and then it's talking about our dashboard, which is where we're landed. We've also got paid ads that we'll take a look at in a second, the email area, direct mail, and then social posts. Okay. So on our dashboard, you kind of get an overview of what you've got. You can see some of your past 30 days performances, your lead goals, some of the connected accounts that you have, and you can go directly into manage here. You can see some of your top performing recent ads that you can have: most engaged, lowest cost per lead. You can also toggle between year to date, past 12 months, and past 30 days. So it gives you an idea of what you've been sending ads for. You can have quick posts in here that this is something that I think people should, at the beginning, take a little bit more time to play with and see if it works for them. As you get started, sometimes the hardest part is saying, what would I make an ad for? Right? You're not sure. Maybe you don't have a listing. You can always ask another agent, can I promote your listing? They will almost always say yes, simply because it's free advertising for them. And what you're doing is you're promoting their listing, trying to draw in buyers to get for yourself. So you're trying to draw in leads that turn into your business. So I would look at this if you struggle to find an idea of what you might want to put in here or put out for an ad. There's some ones that are already pre-populated right here in this quick post area, and you can shuffle it and it'll come up with some different ones, so see what pops in here, and then you can always click on it and be able to start making that ad. Down here, there's some tips and trainings that I think are really great. A lot of times we miss out by not going all the way to the bottom of the page. So if you come back, and say you go through all these classes and you get everything to have a really good grasp on command, and you want to come back and find out a little bit more, simply because you haven't done one for yourself yet, come down here to the tips and trainings, see if one of these may help you. What this is going to do, if you want to, you can toggle this back and forth. The advanced tips are off now, and so how do you create a paid ad? You can just click right on here, and it's going to open a window. It's going to go to answers.kw.com, and that's a great resource for you. So you might want to write that down just in case you need it later. It's answers.kw.com, and when you go to that website, you can click into the main command area for solo agent, and there will be tons of different reference pages for you to be able to find answers on how to navigate through command with things that people before you have already found, like, how do I do this? How did I do that? Why did it do this? That's a great place to go. These tips down here will take you directly into those. Okay. So let's start here in paid ads. Okay. When you come into your paid ads, you're going to have a dashboard for just this section, and it'll load. Takes a little bit. It's when you've got a bunch in here. I've got a bunch of ads over the past year that I've run. Some of them have been really good. I mean, I got one that I got 15 leads off this ad. It was a listing I had last summer. 15 leads. It was $1.67 a lead. I usually do about $25 per ad. That's a pretty good spend in terms of being able to get 15 leads into my pipeline. Even for $5 or $6, it's still pretty good in terms of being able to add more people. Earlier this month, I had one for $2.22. Some of them don't work all the same. This one I put in and I didn't get any leads out of it, but you also look at it from a branding perspective. I got 20,000 impressions. So I was getting my impressions put out there. I was getting my brand, everything about my business put out there, but I may not have got a lead in, but this can tie in and help so that, when I turned around the next day after this finished, I did another ad. Now those same people might be seeing a different ad, but it's still my Facebook page that they're seeing is being promoted. And now I got a few leads off of that, so it will bring them in. And the cool part is once it's in here, you can click through to these leads, and man, I don't know why my internet is really, really slow today. It definitely doesn't keep up to my fast talking. So you can click through and you can actually see the leads themselves, and it will be all in one area, and you'll know which ones came from which ad, and you can be able to market to them based on the fact that they're a specific buyer or seller within a specific ad. And that's already, when it comes in from Facebook, it already has all of their information in their contact card. So if you did the contacts class already and you saw how to fill out a contact card, fill out their information for a contact and it builds that card, that is already filled out for you when it comes in as a lead from these ads that you're purchasing. Okay. So let's go ahead and actually look at starting a campaign to be able to do a paid campaign. If we can, there we go. Okay, click on create campaign. Now you're going to pick what kind of campaign you want to do. You've got social, which is paid. So this is going to be Facebook. You've also got search, which is paid, and that's basically like Google AdWords. You can do a social post, which is going to be just the post itself that's going to be set up. You can do a direct mail and you can do email. So let's start a campaign that's going to be around social, and we'll just do this as a Facebook test 1. You can call it whatever you want. Let's say we're going to advertise a listing. So you pick on it or click on it. You can do any of the things here: attract listings, brand awareness, attract buyers. You as the creator, then this is the hard part. So sometimes it takes a little bit of thinking about how you want to go about it. You have to decide what's your intended audience and what is the intended outcome that you want to get from it. Okay. So if you want to advertise a listing, you want to think to yourself, is it my listing? Am I trying to sell this house? Is that my only outcome, is to get advertising around this house to help sell it? Or am I trying to get other listings around that house, or get other listings based on the fact that people think I'm selling this house the right way? That's up to you, and that determines how you write and come up with the ad. Okay. So you can do the same thing around the buyer side, about brand awareness. You decide what is the actual goal of it. Then down here, you're going to pick where you want it to go. Okay. And remember, in our settings, we've gone in and we've connected Facebook and Twitter. Instagram is already tied in with Facebook because it's owned by Facebook. So if I'm going to click on Facebook, let's say, and maybe I'll go ahead and split this with Instagram. I'll put some on Facebook, some on Instagram. I personally don't use Twitter, so for business, so that wouldn't make sense. So now I'm going to create my ad. And now it's going to give me the options of whatever I need to do to build this ad. Okay. So now the first thing it's going to start with is it's going to pop up to see if I want to add in a specific listing. Okay. Now this is where it comes in. Do you have your own listing? Do you use somebody else's? Okay. Ask an agent in the office who has a listing if it's okay to advertise theirs. And if they say yes, then you can come in here and you can search for it. You need to make sure to change this so that it says all listings, because the default is going to be my listings. And make sure that it's also the right status. Okay. It should be active. I'm going to create one now, but the house that I'm going to put on here is not active. It's actually pending. So I'm going to change it to pending, put 1612 Rich, search for that. And right here, it's a listing I got that's closing this week. So today's good to be able to use it before it's closed. Now, the nice thing is that when you've searched for this is tied to your MLS. That is going to pull in all the information that you've already put into the MLS, or that agent that is the listing agent has put into the MLS. So it makes it really, really easy to be able to get your info in here and pull it in when when your internet's actually working. It does anyways. And you can see, I can see the house in the background here. It's just taking a second, and it's got the actual copy. It's pulling everything in. I don't know why my internet is being like this. Let's try to just go ahead and change that. We'll just change this as we go. So when you pull it in, you've got the text that it already pulled in. It's going to build your ad over here so you can see it as you go down the column and change things. So if I wanted to leave this text like it was, I could leave it. I could cut some of it out, and maybe I just put a period there. Now, one thing we have found, and that Facebook has told us in a lot of the conversations that we've had with them over the amount of time that we've been able to work with them, is that there are some things that work better than others. And one of them, which is not something that I would personally think is something that everybody uses, but it should be something that you think about putting in your copy text, is emojis. Okay. If you like emojis, then you're all set. If you don't use emojis like me, I use them occasionally, but it's not something I would think that I'm going to put out. I do use them on my ads though, because there's a place for them in the Facebook world that makes it so that people draw to them a little bit more and are willing to click on them a little bit more. If you click on this little face down here, you're going to have all the emojis in here. Much faster than what's loading for me. But let's say you type in the word home. Well, now here's a couple of home emojis, and you can put that down here. Okay. And if you want that over here, I can put that up here at the front. I can put one over here, and I can use maybe the other one. So use that one at the end. Maybe Naval Station Norfolk. Maybe I'm going to put instead of, maybe I'll put behind that, I'm going to put anchor. Put that to right behind it. So maybe I put a little anchor in there. So now you can see that as I was doing it here, it's updating it right here on this side. Okay. And then your headline, take the virtual tour today. And I'll just go with tour. And then you can also put something down here. Check it out this weekend with the open house, 1 to 4. And then once you've got this set, then you can turn around and save it. There we go. Hit save. Now we're going to go to the configure media. Okay. Now we should have had our image already selected. My computer is the reason, not the command. My internet is the reason right now why it didn't pick up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit select media. And now, as you'll see, all the pictures from my listing are already here. Okay. So now I can pick one of these, and I'm just going to click on it. And then you can see that it's highlighted. I'm going to preview and crop. Let it pull in. I'm going to leave that for best for most placements. I'm going to save image, and I think that'll be great. So now that's already set this way, and it's got the card look that it's going to have once it's there. Now, if I want to add more, sometimes it's better to have more pictures, right? Let people see more, kind of entice them to jump in. I can come back on here and I can pick another one. Maybe I want to have the kitchen, so I can do that, and then I'll save it, and then maybe and now you can see there's a second card here so that it'll scroll through, and then maybe I do a third one with an updated bathroom, since the kitchen isn't as updated. So now I'll do that. And now I've got 3 cards, and they'll scroll through. Okay, so then you can save that. Now that section's done. You can see as we do each section, it check marks the box, or the circle, I guess, so that you know that it's done, and you're that much closer to being done with your ad being configured. So now I'm going to configure it. Now you can see right here, it just says Keller Williams right now. That's because it's generically pulling in and starting with that. What we've had to do, since you already went in the settings up here, and you did your settings update and connected everything, well, now you're going to be able to see what pages you have available. So now I'm going to change this to my Jerry Tricky page. And look at that. It pulls in my picture from my page and it has what my page title says. Okay. And so you can go ahead and set that. You can Instagram position. You can tell whether it's a feed or the story. So I actually want it to stay in the feed, not as a story. Here on your destination, you could create a site or landing page from within consumer. You might have a different site that you might want to use. My photographer that does all my listing photos has a great website that they build for just that individual house. You could use that if you wanted to. What I would suggest though is that you stay with Facebook lead generation form, and it even says recommended, simply because it has a layer in there that once they click on it, they have to then give their information before they go get your information. Whatever you're going to hang the carrot and tantalize them with, they can't get to that unless they give you their information. If you put it on one of these site or landing pages, it won't have that information collection piece. And so you might get them to go there, but you won't get their info to be able to reach out to them. So I would strongly recommend you leave this as lead generation form until you know that your site can capture the information specifically. Down here, you can put in a site if you want, HHR. I forget what my site is. I think it's hhr.pics/1612rich. I think that might be it. I could be wrong. Oh, look, it probably is it. Okay, so then it'll give you a little checkbox, and that's great. Sometimes you get lucky and you remember what the actual name of the link is. So you can put that in there. You can set your own custom settings that it's going to target for you. But if you want to set them, just click this button, and then you have some options. You could target your database, but that's going to only send to people in your database through Facebook. I would suggest that you want to go to a target audience simply because you're trying to get people you haven't met. You're trying to collect lead information. So you go ahead and leave that, and then you set where you want it to be. Within 20, I usually do 25 miles of Norfolk is great. That's where the house is. And then right here, you see where this says add interests. This is a great place for you to be able to click and pick what type of people you want to be reaching out to, who you want to see this. Okay. So this is going to load all these interests from Facebook, and it'll give you an idea of what the audience is. And so you could scroll through and pick people, if maybe someone is looking for, on apartments.com, do you think maybe that they'd be someone that you'd want to, get in your database and start marketing to in case that they decide to buy a home instead of renting a home? That might be someone. So we could go ahead and click on it. Keep going down. You can find a bunch of different things. Maybe you want to find something from somebody that's looking at looking at a new career. Maybe you're gonna send some ads that are specifically about recruiting, for KW for your downline. You could always do that. Zillow is in here, and while that's a marketing site and a site that we don't necessarily want to tie into a lot, if consumers are looking for it and that's who you're trying to get are those people, maybe you should target them to be able to say that these are the people that I want to see my ad, or people that are interested in looking at Zillow. You decide what these are and add these interests, and then you can come back in and you can also be able to narrow them a little bit as well. And then you can save that. And then we get to the cool piece that David was mentioning at the very beginning, which is brand new. Let's do save. There we go. Now we get to come into the lead settings. And this is great because now what you can do, and this is only just in the last couple of days, I believe, that it came live, that you can set these settings so that when the lead comes in to me, it will automatically tag it and then start it on a smart plan for me. So I don't have to manually go do that. Last week or a week and a half ago, when I did my last campaign in here, if an ad went out and a lead came in, I would have to manually go in and start a new smart plan by adding a trigger tag or a tag for it. Now you can do that in here. So if I put, test one, if I create a new tag for test one ad, let's call it that. Now I can create this tag right in here. I can make it red. Now I can have a new tag so that when a lead comes in, it's automatically going to be tagged. And then if I want it to be set to a smart plan that I already have in my library, I can pick that smart plan. So we can say, maybe this is a buyer buying generic smart plan. So I can click on that, and now it's going to go ahead, and when that lead comes in, it's going to tag it, and it's going to start that smart plan, whatever that situation is. And I think that's really valuable to you, to be able to jump in and like Teddy's saying in the chat, instant follow-up and getting to that speed. What did they say, Jason? What did Jason say yesterday? You own the lead, you own the industry. Is that what he said, Teddy?
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but I think you got that right.
Yeah, I wrote it down. That's the one thing I wrote down yesterday.
Yeah, I got a bunch of scribble everywhere from that.
Yep. Yeah. So it's getting to the lead as fast as you can really is important, and having this lead settings set properly so that you can make it trigger into a smart plan that you feel is going to work for your follow-up is an amazing step for us right now. So I absolutely recommend that, and it's awesome that we just got to that point this week, and that you're actually the first ones seeing this in this class. Then we got the duration. You pick what you want. Just so you know, if they're going to need a little time to approve the ad. So if you come in to make an ad, it's not going to start the same day that you make it. It's going to go to the next day. So today's Wednesday. It's going to say tomorrow is when it's going to start. And I would strongly recommend, based on the numbers that Facebook has provided as far as information goes, if you're only doing 1 or 2 days, it's really not going to be effective. If you're gonna spend $25, put it over 5 or 7 or 10 days. Give it some time. Maybe it's $50 over 10 days, maybe $25 over 7 days. Give it a little bit of time to be able to go through. So maybe if I'm starting this one tomorrow, I'd run it through, maybe next Friday. Give it a couple bucks a day per channel. And then you can decide which way you want it to go, distribute evenly across it, or you can switch it and you can make the automatic placements for it the way that it works best. And so by leaving it as dynamic, it's going to do up to $1.88 a day on Facebook and up to $1.88 a day on Instagram, but it's going to choose which ones are running better, which things are pulling in and getting more clicks, and it's going to put more weight toward that and let you try and get more leads by letting it do the actual running of the system. Okay, but you can choose from those whichever way you'd like to go. Then you save that, and then now you can see here's your built ad. It's got all your info. You've gone through and you've checked all the circles so that all the information is done. You can preview it, if you want to see what it looks like on mobile, it's got the mobile look. If you want to see what it looks like in stories, it's got the stories look. So you've got everything done here. So now you can come into publish campaign. You're going to take a look at it, and it's going to tell you what your campaign is going to run for, what's the cost, the payment method, if you have a credit from previous. So just so you know, once this has been sent, if you stop a campaign, say you put $30 on, and after $20 you say, you know what, this is not running, it's not generating anything, I'm going to stop it, and you stop the campaign, at the end of that time of the campaign is supposed to run, if there's still $10 left on there, then you don't get it back. That's already been paid to Facebook, but what you get is you do get it back as being a credit the next time you come in to do an ad. Okay, and then you pick the card that you want, and then you hit create campaign. That's going to send it in for them to be able to do the approval, and then you'll be able to go ahead and see what the results are once it starts running. And you'll get those leads. You get a notification up here in the little bell when you have a new lead that comes in. It'll get directly put into your contacts, and you should get a Kelly notification. Any questions on the creating of the campaign? Does it all seem pretty simple? Pretty straightforward? Okay. Then let's jump into social posts real quick, because that one's pretty easy and straightforward. So in here, let's say that you made a design, a post for social media in Designs, or maybe you use an outside source to create your social media posts. Okay, either way, you can come in here to the social posts area, and you can look at the schedule and you can set a schedule for it. Okay, right now this only shows the week. You can change this to a month view. You can see here that where you're at on today. If you have something that you want to schedule, let's say that that I want to go to July 4th, and I want to schedule something here. If I just hover over the date, you can see how it's got the little hand there. I can click on it, and now it's going to take me in to the create campaign for this area of the social post. And now I can put happy 4th of July, everyone have a safe and enjoyable day. Oh, and be mindful of the dogs when setting off those bottle rockets. I always get worried about the dogs with the bottle rockets. So now you can get your text together. If you've put something into Designs, you can go ahead and find it from Designs. So I'm going to use a different one. I don't have an actual ad for 4th of July yet made. I should have done one before, but if I did, this was my Juneteenth from a couple weeks ago. I can come in here and I can crop the image, and now it's going to set it in here, and you can see again, this is how it's building the actual ad. Okay, so now it's got my info here, and I forgot. Let me do this. Let me go see if I've got a rocket. Do a little emoji. And now you can come down here. You can set your schedule. You want to publish immediately, you can do that. But if you want to schedule it in the future, and it tells you best days to post are Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. Okay, well, this one's specific to a date because it's July 4th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down, and make sure you scroll all the way down so you can see the time and everything. So I want it on the 4th, and I want to pick that to be 7 to 6. Let's do 6:45. So you can set that actual schedule of 6:45. You can say where it's going to go, and then all you do is you go ahead and you hit schedule post. Yes, schedule post. Now you see it on the actual page when you're on the month view. You'll see it on here. Actually, I'm going to turn to July. So now you see it on here. It wasn't there before. There's a 6:45 a.m. Facebook post, and if you click on it again, now it's going to show you the info so you can check it, and you can see what it says, make sure everything's good, make sure it all matches up. You can see some numbers on here once it's been run. If you need to change something, you see these 3 dots. The 3 dots we're always looking at is being able to change things within a certain area. Those dots you can do to edit, or you can delete. If I want to delete, it'll just do it, but I don't believe it'll do it. I think it's 2 hours. I think and I know with the email it's a little bit longer, but I think it's up to, it's either an hour or 2 hours that you can delete it up till, and then it's going to be set. So just make sure it's ready to go whenever you actually set it and forget it. Okay. And you can always edit the post at any point. That will put it on here, and that's something you can do all the way out for the rest of the year. So if you want to do one day a month and pick, for a day to be able to do all of your social media posts, to have something on there, something that's very evergreen, you can set that now, or you can do it for 6 months at a time and really take that leverage off of your plate to be able to put it somewhere else. Okay. So I think that's a very useful tool. In here, you'll see some of these quick posts that you can use directly. You can build the little videos. The videos are something that you go through the designs class, and it'll show you how to do it. Those can be implemented directly into here as well. Okay. Let's talk about emails. If we want to come in and do an email campaign, the setup is exactly the same. You're going to come in and create. You're going to do email, and you're going to do whatever you want it to be. And you can say, maybe I want to do brand awareness. And then you pick, are you going to be using command email, or are you going to be using Mailchimp if you've tied that to the system already? Okay. In this scenario, I'm going to use command email. I'm going to do create a campaign. And now what this is going to do is it's going to give me the general setup for it. Here's my campaign name. Here's my account. This is my account that I am using, that's going to be sent from, but it's not going to come from that. Remember, it's going to come from agent, and then my ID, my identifier from KW at kw.com. It'll return to Jerry at Team Tricky, and I can always edit that here if I want. Who it's going to is pretty cool, because you've got lists that you can create, and you can also edit. So if I picked one and I wanted to send it to this list, my fantasy football league guys, I can edit that list and it'll show me who's in here. Okay. And I can take somebody off. I can add other people if I wanted to. I can search for tags to add them. I can create or edit this right here on the fly if I wanted to. If I don't like any of these, then I can just go ahead and create a list. And then now I've got my whole database here. Okay. Now I think it only does, let me do this. It should tell us 100 contacts. Yep. It's only going to do 100 contacts at a time. But if you come down here when you've done 100, I know it's a couple extra clicks. It's not the most ideal, but if you did that, then you can select it. Now you've got 200. Okay. So if you just go down to the bottom, it's going to be 4 extra clicks, it looks like, because that'll get me all of the ones that I need to load. And then at that point, I would be set to be able to have all of my, there we go, last one. Now I could do my whole database at one time. I've got everybody. I come back up here and I'm clicking on it. Now I've got 541, and I can write whole. If it will, there we go, database. Whole database with a W. So I can confirm that, and now I've got everybody in my database if that's what I wanted to do. It took me 4 extra clicks, but it's something that I think it will get worked through at a certain point, but it's nice to be able to have that opportunity to use the whole thing. I can put my subject in, happy 4th. And then I can select a design. Now, if I don't have a design, I can go ahead and make one so that I can be able to use it. Let's say that this was my design. It's a happy 4-year anniversary one for someone that recently. Once I've got it in here, you can see what it's going to look like. Click the little eyeball. You can see it's got my info, and it's going to say, hi, whoever the contact is, and then all the info. Once I know that this is right, I can hit save and exit. And you see how that pulled it right back in, so that email. So I would say if you're going to create the email first, that in designs is probably the best way to go, so that it's done and ready. Then you come in here to the campaign and get it ready to go. And then once you've got it here, you can see it. If you want to, right here under these actions, see these actions on the right-hand side, you can preview email and you can send a test email, which is great, so that you can see it. How many you guys have yourselves in your database, right? Like, you have a contact for yourself? Monica, you're looking like maybe, no?
I'm an admin, so I am using my agents. So I'm trying to learn all this to better help her. So
Yeah.
I have my mom in there to use as a test person.
Okay. I would suggest if you went ahead and put yourself in there so that you can send it to yourself directly. I think that seeing it before someone else sees it is very important. So that way you're not sending something out, and you wouldn't anyways, but if you're sending it for your agent, you want the agent to see it before it goes out, right? It's probably useful for you to see it before your agent sees it. So I would say maybe think of adding yourself so that you can send it to you as a test. And then from there, you say, okay, this looks good. Now I'm going to send it to my agent so she can give, or he can give the approval. And then from there, it goes out to the public. So you can send with this, using this actions button, you can send the test email to whoever you want it to go to. So I would consider that, having yourself in there to be able to review those things. Then you can either schedule it for a later time to be able to go out, just like we did with, and it does say here, send email campaigns 2 hours from now to 12 months from now. You can edit them up to 2 hours before the scheduled date and time. So that gives you a little bit of flexibility to edit them, but just remember that when you're getting close to that time going out, it's actually not going to be as editable or at all editable if it's within 2 hours. And then you can either, like I said, schedule or send. Okay. And we are, and then direct mail, I'll just hit on this real quick with our last couple minutes, and then I'll take questions if you guys have anything. In direct mail, you'll see your dashboard is going to be the same as the others. I don't have any currently. You can come in through here to do direct mail. You can pick what type of direct mail campaign you want it to be. You can upload your own templates. So if you make other templates, like say you're making postcards or things like that, there are some default ones in here. I'll just show you those real quick. And you can kind of see over here what they are as far as the default. And then if you want to change them, you can change them. You can put in your specific listing and your listing photo, the agent, market center, all this stuff, and then you can target it. It will actually show you a preview, and then you configure the targeting when you go to pay for it so that you can see where it's going to go. So if you want to send some postcards to, say it's a new listing and you want to say just listed or under contract or sold, and you're going to send them to the 50 nearest homes or 100 nearest homes, you can be able to do that. If you want to have it more customizable in terms of what you put on there content wise, then I would suggest doing it as the create them on your own and upload the template instead of using one of these templates. But this is a very nice one to be able to use if you just want a quick, easy, not worried about having too much specific stuff on there, and something that you can get out real quick. Okay. And this will send through real mailers, and it's a super easy process. What questions do you have? We're at 11 o'clock, so I want to be mindful of your guys' time. What questions have you come up on any of these sections that I haven't been able to touch on yet? Or if you don't have any questions, tell me what was your one aha. What one thing are you going to take away from this that you learned?
I do have a question.
Okay.
We like to send out emails and things for birthdays and home anniversaries, and this is only like my third week. But I've already sent a few, and when I do the campaign, I'm only adding like one person. Is there an easier, like, can I add multiple people and schedule it for different times, or do I just have to add each person individually, like to a different campaign.
Well, are you using the smart plan for birthdays and home anniversaries?
Not yet, because my agent, she's relatively new to Keller Williams. I think she came on in like November. And so she hasn't really had a ton of time to like dive deep into that. So I'm trying to figure that out to take that off her plate. So I haven't quite figured out all that yet.
Okay. I would suggest that maybe looking at smart plans there are two smart plans. There's a birthday and a home anniversary smart plan in there in the libraries. I would take a look at them and see if they fit the needs of what you're looking to do. They're going to trigger, they're the only smart plans that are date driven, to my knowledge, where if you have the date already put in there, because you put it into the contact card that there's a home anniversary date or a birth date, and then those smart plans that are tied to that for birthday and home anniversary, they start by whatever date is in there, and it's starting before that date. So if the smart plan is 14 days, let's say, the 14 days starts before the actual home anniversary by 14 days. And it tells you what to do. And it puts a task into your task bar or task box and says, do this, send a text, or do this, send a card. Or if it's got an email that's in there, then it would send it on that date. Okay. That may be what you're looking for. In terms of using an actual campaign for a home anniversary in specific, I mean, those are going to be one-off things, simply because there's not a way to separate them, because not everybody's going to be the same. You're not going to have, if you have 50 clients last year, all 50 of them are going to be spread out over 12 months. So they're not going to have the same date. And there's not a campaign that you can do that's going to say, send this one on this date and this one on this date. So I do think that smart plans might be a better way to look at it. But if you set up one template in Designs to cut your process down, I would think you could set one template up in Designs that is your standard home anniversary email. Once that's done, then you come into campaigns and create an email campaign and you send it. I mean, that's a 5-minute process, because you've already got the design done and you're just changing basically like maybe one picture if you put the actual home picture. And then from there, it's just a super easy process once you get it set up the first time.
That's what I have been doing.
Yeah. So I think if you're doing that, your first time process is going to take a little bit, getting the design ready and learning how to use the campaign efficiently. But after you start doing that a couple of times, you're not changing the design. You're just gonna, if you put in there's the brackets that you can use that lets it automate the name. So it's kind of like in Word, where it does a I forget the name of it, but it filters out like whatever that is and puts the actual contact's name. If you've got that on there, and then the rest of the text is the same, so maybe you do one design, maybe you even cut the process down a little bit more. Maybe you spend one day and you build all the designs. So it says, here's a design for 1 year home anniversary, and then 2 year and 3 year. That way you never have to change any text when you send it. It's already built. And if you have a picture, then it's just a matter of swapping out the picture real quick. So that might be something to think about in terms of that. I would strongly recommend you talk to your MCTT for your office and see if they have some good strategy ideas around that as well, because they might have already helped some other agents or admins for agents who were looking for a similar thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Sue, how'd you do today? Is it all good? Okay, if we're all good, then I'm gonna stop sharing and make sure to follow along to what's today, Wednesday. So tomorrow's Thursday, so there's another class tomorrow for the next session, 10 a.m. If you need more info, definitely reach out to your MCTTs and let us know how we can help. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, Jay.
See you, Ted.
Later.
Thank you.